In a world filled with magic, gods and men make war. The fabric of time is torn asunder, though the true tempest is not yet upon us. None shall weather these trials alone, and few survive them together, for there can be no balancing of the scales in the wake of ebon storms.
Last time, at Ebon Storms, Episode 7, saved from death by Farsha and brought back to health under the eye of Nifigut's wife Martha and the novice healer Galena, the thief named Charn Purlorn awakened to the news that Farsha had sacrificed herself for her friends. While everyone else in Shazgarath attended the funeral, Martha went looking for the conspicuously absent Father Jonas, the priest who substituted for Father Nifigut during his adventures. Martha found Jonas slain in his bedroom. The blame for this crime was falsely placed upon Charn, who managed to escape the enraged crowd and head for the stables. There he found Galena, and with her fled into the Gyrin Deep. Word traveled quickly, and soon a reward was offered for the return of Charn, dead or alive. Hearing of this, he and Galena stole a horse, and for reasons known only to Charn, headed straight to Aragorn, the largest city in western Romalia. Meanwhile, Lord Selegna relished in the destruction of the Paladin Farsha. The Zenokarians' master plan, the conquest of Romalia, seems inexorable, since the only threat, the small group of adventurers, appears to be faltering in the face of despair. And now, Episode 8, Held Accountable.
Storm clouds roll through the gray sky over the town of Shazgarath. Morven Reach Castle glares threateningly from its perch above. It has been less than 2 days since Farsha died defending her friends. Less than half a day since Charn fled with the girl Galena. Thangar rode off in pursuit and has yet to return. Krannik and Nifigut sit anxiously inside the shrine of Illuma in Nifigut's tiny office, discussing recent events.
Shouldn't Thangar have returned by now?
Don't worry about Thangar, Father. He can take care of himself. Trust me.
Well, I guess it's time to be off.
Off to where?
We're expected at the town hall. Did no one tell you? When Sheriff Micah returned from the search, he called for a town meeting. He wants you and the others there. Since you know Charn well, you might
be able to find him and bring him in? Subdue him, then feed him to a bloodthirsty mob? I'm sorry, Father. Charn is a thief, but I will never believe he is a killer. A whole town of self-righteous citizens prepares the gallows for a man without proof, because he lives life a bit on the shady side.
No, Krannik, I apologize. It's just that Father Jonas's murder was so senseless. There was no reason. The killer didn't even take his purse.
That in itself should speak for Charn's innocence. Why would a thief go so far as to kill someone, a priest no less, then leave without taking a thing? A reasonable person can see that Charn is innocent, a victim of circumstance.
In times such as this, Krannik, my friend, reason quickly fails, giving way to hate, no matter what profession we hold. We had best be going. Micah expects us.
Across town, in Shazgarath's humble meeting hall, people gather to discuss their course of action. Allandra sits at the long table, thumbing absently through her spellbook, while Trellin stands at the window, staring anxiously into the forest. Elred sits across from Allandra, his mind elsewhere.
Ah, so you decided to join us.
My lady, if you'll just...
Any sign of Thangar yet?
No, my dear. He'll return soon.
He probably lost Charn's trail yesterday. And is still trying to find it again. Thangar doesn't give up easily, you know.
Sheriff Micah enters with 2 others. One, a young man of little over 17, with blonde hair and dark eyes, bearing a naked sword in hothead anger. The other stranger is a quiet woman of short stature, thin and wiry, with short red hair. She wears dark leather armor from head to toe and a gray riding cloak. 2 dagger sheaths are visible at her waist.
Sheriff, I was about to ask...
You might be interested in looking at this.
Sheriff Micah holds up a piece of parchment, a copy of Charn's wanted poster.
Wanted for the murder of the High Priest of the East.
Holy Illuma.
Charn Purlorn. Reward, 50,000 dead, 100,000 alive.
What sort of evil prank is this?
That's not possible. He murdered the High Priest, then the dog came and murdered my father, and you didn't stop him? You son of a...
The angry youth pushes Micah out of the way, rushing towards Krannik. Allandra thrusts her foot in the boy's path, sending him crashing headlong into the far wall. Allandra stands and takes a step towards the boy, hands aflame with sapphire light.
Now, can we be civilized, or shall I calm you forcibly?
The young boy, picking himself up, struggles over to a chair, wide eyes on Allandra. Allandra turns to face the leather-clad woman.
So, what part do you play in this? Based on your attire, I would say that you are a thief, or a bounty hunter. So you come seeking Charn.
Well met, my lady. You are correct. I am a thief of the Eastern Claves. As you say, I seek Charn, but for justice, not money. I am Marcin.
If you think we'll help you apprehend Charn, you're obviously not.
Hold, sir. Charn now stands accused of 2 murders. He must be found and tried fairly.
I've seen what justice takes place in angry mobs, I think.
Maybe we should find him, Krannik, to prove he's innocent.
Elrad's right. If we...
I will tell you my story if...
He must be killed for his crimes.
Peace, my friends. Anger won't solve.
I wish only to bring justice. Had he not run away.
That proves his guilt.
Silence! The next person to speak out of turn will be stricken mute. Now, let us hear what Marcin has to say.
Thank you, my lady. As I said, I am of the Eastern Claves. When the High Priest was assassinated, Charn stood accused. A witness saw a thief near the cathedral that day, and a dagger with Charn's family seal was, almost conveniently, found discarded in a wine barrel near the scene. We had barely gotten the news that he was to be charged when he was apprehended by a pair of paladins. Catching a thief proves difficult, imprisoning one impossible. Charn escaped, evidently all the way to the west, leaving his clave fellows to face the following days of persecution without him. News of the High Priest's murder flew faster than the wind. People were outraged, and their anger grew to murderous levels. The season of storms had already made them edgy, and this gave them a vent for their fears. If Charn hadn't escaped, they would have given him a painful public execution. Then life would have continued, but he fled. The people wanted blood. They wanted the thief who had committed the murder. That was when the Guild stepped in. The Guild accused the Chesmer Enclave of hiding Charn from the authorities. They figured that by threatening our entire order, we would betray Charn to save ourselves. Unfortunately, we didn't have that option. No one knew where Charn had gone. Violence against the thieves escalated. We weren't safe anywhere. Palace patrols attacked us on sight. Some were taken for interrogation, others mercifully killed. Our numbers diminished as our people died or fled. Guild mages began assisting in special patrol forces. The patrols would seek out our clave halls and burn them. We were forced into hiding in an old stable near Chesmer, with no way to get food or supplies. We starved. The groups we sent to the city for food came back empty-handed or never returned. Then we were attacked by the Guild, men and women in red robes with spells of paralysis. They decimated us. They wanted to know where we were hiding Charn. My brother, leader of our order after our High Mark died, told them that he'd fled west, but they didn't listen. A red robe walked over to where he was, holding the dagger they'd taken from him. He cast his cursed spell, and suddenly the dagger began dancing in the air. As the red robe gestured, so would the dagger dart and hover. Finally, he brought the blade to rest against my brother's neck. I will never forget his eyes as he asked my brother once more where Charn was. Once again, he told the truth. Charn had gone west. The answer did not satisfy the red robe. With a flinch of his hand, he slit my brother's throat. I knew I'd meet the same fate were I to do nothing. I'd been knocked down in the struggle, assumed dazed or dead. I knew, though, that the mages would soon ensure we were all dead. No one could be left alive to tell of the massacre. I got my chance. I crashed an oil lamp on the hay bales of the stable and escaped in the chaos. I used the moment's confusion to escape. I don't know whether the mages got out alive, nor do I care. I only know that the last I saw of my clave was a burning pyre. Why am I here? To bring justice. Charn must be tried within our clave for abandoning his brethren regardless of his guilt or innocence in the High Priest's murder. He must be held accountable for his actions. I will see to it that he is...
You lie! The Guild would never do such things as you have said. It goes against all of the beliefs that we hold dear. Would the lot of you, who have traveled by my side for days now, believe a thief over me?
You misunderstand me. I do not accuse all mages. You wear the purple robes, the color of diplomacy and goodwill. You are likely ignorant of what your own guild does. It doesn't matter. If I had wanted to kill you, you would be dead already. But I need you. The Western Claves are scared. Although they will help me in minor ways, they won't risk accompanying me, directly, to find Charn. Since you know him...
You expect us to help you find Charn so you can kill him?
If he proves guilty of these murders, Charn Purlorn will die. Besides, we are in a race. Would you rather a guildsman find him? Or perhaps a bounty hunter? Trust me, the thieves will be much kinder to Charn than others.
I don't care what the rest of you do. I'm going to find him and kill him like he killed my father.
Let's go then, young man. You and I will find Charn, and you can have your revenge. We'll capture him, then tie him to a tree. Then you can use that shiny sword of yours and run it straight through his chest. But be sure you can stomach it. Make sure you can stand to hear the blade strike bone. Be certain you can handle watching a man's eyes drain of life and hear the raspy gurgle of a planned death. Make sure you can live with the guilt of taking a life, the shame which your revenge will bring upon your family and your God. Make sure you can sit by your father's grave and tell him why you forsook his beliefs and teachings, why you forfeited your soul for revenge. I've killed before. I need no God to save my soul. If you can do this, then come with me.
Marcen finishes speaking, looking intently into the young man's dark eyes, until he looks down, tears streaming from his eyes. Father Jonas's son sits there weeping silently, hand tightly clutching a candle-shaped locket.
Well then, I'll step out and let you discuss your plans. I ride within the hour.
Allandra stands up and follows Marcen out. Nifigit, Trellin, and Elrad look to Krannik, who shakes his head wearily.
We risk Charn's life no matter what we do. Marcen knows thieves' waves far better than we do. Perhaps by accompanying her we can see that Charn is treated with a measure of justice.
Let's find him. Maybe Thangar has caught up with him already.
We can only help him if we're near him.
Father Nifigit?
I know not what to do. I don't wish to leave Shazgrath again, but the past few days have changed my life so much. You need a priest of Illuma with you. I'm no adventurer, but I am your friend, and I must know the truth of Father Jonas's murder. I feel it's my fault.
No.
How could that be?
I will go with you. I feel it necessary.
Let's tell Marcen.
I'll be with you in a moment. Let me speak to Father Jonas's son.
Your decision?
We will join you in the search for Charn, but keep in mind that we do not hunt him. We go to see him acquitted of these accusations. Don't cross us.
Of course. Shall we go then? We need to gather our horses and supplies. We leave in 1 hour.
What if Thangar hasn't returned by then?
He'll have to catch up then. We can't lose any more time.
Elrad, go in and tell Nifigit. He'll want to spend time with his family before he leaves. Marcen, we'll gather our things and some supplies and meet you at the stables.
Good.
The hour passes quickly as the adventurers make their preparations for a chase of undetermined length. After a tearful farewell to his family, Nifigit makes his way to the stables.
Again, I say goodbye to my wife, not knowing how long I'll be away. For her sake, I hope Lutho stays out of trouble. What would this trek bring? Poor Jonas. He was such a good man. Why? Why did this happen? I fear that I'll never understand. Or that I will.
Father, you're late.
I'm sorry. I was saying goodbye to my family.
We understand, Nifigit. Marcen, as I was saying, do you have any guess as to where Charn might be headed?
Of course. There's only one place left for him to go. Aragorn.
Far to the east, at the Tower of Knowledge, the Grey Mage stands at the window of the ceremonial chamber, gazing out into the murky night. He rubs absently at the dark circles beneath his bloodshot brown eyes. He has not slept in days. Allandra's secret departure to the west, the lurking traitor, and the ominously silent Mirrorstone behind him give him much to consider.
Allandra, how I wish you were here. I fear the generations we have spent trusting blindly in this mighty artifact are for naught, and we are destroying the balance we struggle to preserve. In a few moments, I must face 5 people, knowing all the while that one of them has betrayed the rest. Betrayed the entire guild. Enter.
My lord, the Blue Mages have assembled in the council chambers as you requested.
Thank you, Caulder. I will join them shortly.
The Grey Mage pauses for a moment, collecting his thoughts, before he walks slowly into the next room, taking a seat at the head of the table. The Council of Blue Mages minus Allandra are seated around the table.
You look tired, my lord. Have you slept lately?
No. Perhaps when the affairs of the world settle down a bit, I'll catch up. May I suggest dispensing with the formalities this evening? We have much to discuss.
I see no objections.
Good. The purpose of this meeting is to decide what to do regarding the matter of the Eastern Church. I trust no one needs reminded of the affair I speak of.
Of course no one needs reminded. We were fools to follow this path. We have not balanced the world. We've single-handedly thrown it into chaos.
You confuse the issue, Valdor. Assassinating the High Priest was not a scheme which we devised. It came directly from the Mirror Stone itself. How can you know that the balance has not been served? Turbulence always precedes change, and change can bring a new balance, one stronger than the old. It isn't as if we have not killed for the guild before. Each of us has taken a life. Why must this one cause you such grief?
No one contends his life was worth more than the other's, Lantris. But his death certainly affected a great number. With the season of storms lasting so long this year, the Church of Aluma was already tightly wound. We should have been more concerned with the timeliness of our actions.
This rhetoric gets us nowhere. The priest is dead. We couldn't renounce our actions even if we wished to. We can try to quiet the turmoil which his death has caused. What we must do now is to protect the guild.
Protect it from what?
From what? Are you blind? What do you think would happen if the people, let alone the church, found out we were responsible for the high priest's death? Have you forgotten that we framed a man for this murder? That man is currently at large in Romelia. What if he has spoken to the few thieves which escaped west after we raided their clave? Do you honestly think Charn Purloin is so stupid that he couldn't see the guild's part in it?
Useless information, Agramon. Who would believe him? The entire continent hungers for his blood.
A priest of Aluma might. We know that the Church has always suspected that we are more than the simple union of spellcasters we appear to be, huddling together for safety. So far, we have kept the secret of the Mirror Stone from the world. Though our secrets are safe, we cannot conceal the fact that we have them. There are those in this world who would trust a thief long before a guildsman. Priests also tend to be less hot-headed. If Charn finds one and convinces him of the truth, the Church might...
Might what? The Church has no power to stand against us. They spend their lives in service to a non-existent goddess.
Take care, Lantris. We may not believe in their goddess, but we have each seen the power upon which they call. The histories tell us that the priests were once able to call down power exceeding our own.
Why don't we simply double our efforts to find this Charn? Once he has been tried and publicly executed, we will be rid of these worries. The Eastern Church will elect a new leader, the people will have their revenge on the evil of the world, and the balance will continue as always.
Are we justified in allowing the thief to take the blame? I remind you that our denouncement of him was wholly our idea, not a vision given by the Mirror Stone.
Ah, but it did reveal to you the man we accuse. You said that he was marked with the Dark Hand. The death of this man, marked as he is, will dispel the turmoil this situation has caused. I agree with Valdor. We should double our efforts in search for the thief. We should use the resources at our disposal to find him and capture him alive. Then we can bring him back to the east and turn him over to the Church. A gesture of friendship and goodwill, of course. There will be a trial and an execution, then it will be over.
It comes to a vote, then.
Do all of you agree with this proposal?
Oh, certainly.
What about taking further actions to quicken the stabilization process? Surely you realize this gives the Xenakarian Church a tremendous opportunity. They've already stepped up their attacks on the smaller churches of Aluma.
This is true. I received word this morning from an informant that a day ago, a priest was murdered in some small western town. We should consider the likelihood of a large aggression by the Black Church. The present high priest seems a most competent leader. The Xenakarian Church has risen steadily in power since he took control.
Remember the patterns of history. The two churches wax and wane. One may dominate the other for a time, but eventually the scale tips the other way. Thus the balance maintains. It is not always necessary for us to act.
Remember your history, Lantris. These shiftings always bring catastrophe on the land. War, famine, and pestilence all take hold, leaving only us to hold together the shreds of humanity. We pause on the brink of another shifting. Are you willing to let this destruction happen again?
Are you a blue mage or a priestess of Illuma? Can you not handle the responsibility this office requires? History must cycle for a civilization to evolve. Those who survive the plague will be stronger for it.
Don't insult me, Lantris. We're not speaking of the poisoning of a town or precipitating a border dispute between two provinces. You are right. History comes to a turning point. The decisions we make tonight shape the future of the world.
My lady, I did not.
Orin, Lantris, stop this at once. Each of you has had the guild's best interest at heart. Neither of you would see Romelia destroyed. How many councils do you think have sat at this table, wondering at the morality of their decisions? The High Priest is dead. We have healed him, but we must not be blamed. The people demand a scapegoat for this crime. We have named Charn. Those are things which are written irrevocably in the annals of time. Now where does that leave us?
Do we know where Charn is now?
The reports I received this morning declare he hides in the Gyrin deep north of the village of Shazgarath. Rumor has it he left there after the death of a paladin. Information travels slowly, though, and my reports are second or third-hand accounts. Perhaps we should send another violent mage west. Perhaps a second visit to the church.
No. We are understaffed already in the eastern courts.
How does Allandra fare with the Tree of Life?
I know not. The Mirror Stone has been silent, so we haven't been able to converse since she left. Our spells do not fail us. That speaks well of her success.
Has anyone considered a link between the events in Romelia and the deterioration of the Tree of Life?
Deterioration? I've tested my magic each day she's been gone, and it's remained true.
You also wear a piece of the Mirror Stone. Perhaps it strengthens our control of her magic.
Perhaps. I think Allandra's absence has been very convenient for her. She hasn't had to make some of the weightiest decisions in our term. Allandra is always the lucky traveler.
Orin, I have said before that Allandra is the only person the Lothians will trust near the tree. The Lothians have been our friends for ages, and I will keep it that way. As for Allandra making decisions, how many of you balked at the job of killing the newborn prince of Salasand? Who among you enchanted the dagger? Question your own motives before you question Allandra's.
Again we trail into rhetoric. We must concentrate on finding Charn Purloin. Once he is taken care of, we can proceed with our mundane moral bickerings.
Then on the matter of the thief, we are agreed?
Agreed.
I agreed.
Then it is agreed. We will use every available resource to find him. Charn Purloin will pay for the balance with his life. Now he bears our mark as well.
The party has ridden through the Gyrin Deep for nearly a day without sleep or sign of Charn and Galena. They stand reunited with Thangar, who they heard shouting furiously from far off 2 hours after their departure from Shazgarath. The rain has been steady, with little relief. The trek takes its toll on the adventurers.
Might we stop for just a while? If I'm forced to sit on this horse for much longer, I fear I'll never be able to get off of it.
Do you think Charn is resting now, Father? I can assure you he still rides. Probably counting on our slowness. We keep riding. Whenever it becomes too much for you, you may turn around and head back to Shazgarath.
Charn may not be resting, but do not forget he carries a passenger. From what Nifigit says of her, Galena is not well traveled. She will need rest.
Assuming she's still alive. Charn probably slit her throat and dumped her body in a gully by now. That's a thief's way.
Not all thieves, warrior.
Enough, Thangar. From your own account, it seems Charn was facing you when you were darted from behind, as you said. Who did that, do you think? Someone had to, since Charn was facing you.
Galena wouldn't do a thing like that.
You'll remember she wasn't screaming for help when she rode out of Shazgarath on the back of his horse.
They're teamed up.
I'm merely saying that I, for one, do not believe that Charn is a murderer. And I will not until I see irrevocable proof. You know, Thangar, I remember Farsha telling me the story of how you two met. You were on a mindless rampage, killing everything in sight after Maldrick Forge was destroyed. Did she condemn you?
That's different.
Was it?
I do not know Charn, but I have known Galena all her life. She would never harm another being or consort with a killer. Her family is one of the most...
Damn it! Is that how you priests keep your faith? By denying the evil in men? Charn won't kill because he has no reason. Sweet Galena can't dart me because her family's good. Farsha's life wasn't wasted because she lives on as an example to us all. Bah! You walk around with blinders on. When something bad happens, you churchmen deny it or explain it away as a blessing in disguise. Bah! I have news for you, Father. People kill people, some for no reason other than pleasure. Children grow and stray from their parents. Lives are wasted every day, and good can lose to evil. Sometimes things happen because they happen. You and your kind can stand behind your altars and preach till the sun drops into the sea that faith in Illuma rights all wrongs, and people will still die. Sometimes we don't make a difference. I know you think I'm just a stupid warrior, but at least I face the facts. At least I don't lie to myself.
Thangar, I know how much Farsha meant to you, but striking out at Nifigate...
Damn it, woman! This isn't about Farsha. It's about ignoring the truth when it stares us in the face. That the people we live and travel with might betray us. That we might all fail.
Thangar...
I'm not done yet. Setting things right doesn't take faith. It takes guts and luck and know-how. It means judging people by their actions, not their words, or what kind of people you think they are.
Farsha had faith and trust enough in Charn to risk her life for him. She believed in him. Why can't you?
Farsha trusted everyone, friend and enemy both. She had faith and it killed her.
Farsha died saving us. She died so that
Farsha died because she believed her holy sword would protect both her and us. Go take a look at it now. I wasn't strong enough to save her, and Illuma didn't care enough to.
Thangar, I know how strongly you feel about these things, but where would this world be without faith? If you have no faith in anything, how could you go on?
You don't make.
Let me finish, son. How can a person go on living without faith in something? Forget Illuma for a moment. Surely you have faith in your skill with a sword. It certainly isn't wrong to have faith in yourself. You have faith in your friendship with Farsha. Her death should not lessen that faith. It should strengthen it, for she sacrificed her very life because of her giving nature, her friendship with you. Did you not listen to my eulogy? As for Illuma, boundless faith in her is of rare virtue. Surely, but we can serve her still, faith or no, because Illuma has faith in us. We may never be able to prove Charn's guilt or innocence, but as you say, sometimes things happen because they happen. But Illuma knows what happened. She knows the truth.
Father, are you well?
I'll be all right. Just something caught in my throat.
Marson, we need to rest.
Yes, before the father catches his death.
Oh, yes, please, let's rest.
Fine, we rest. But not until we find suitable shelter, a cave or a large overhang.
Oh, but that could take hours.
No, not in the deep.
No arguments. We wait for shelter so we can get out of the rain and possibly build a campfire.
Oh, what I wouldn't give to be warm and dry.
What happens when we find Charn?
He will be made to stand trial. It will probably be held in the east, by the guild, or the church. Perhaps both.
Excuse me, my lady, but the trial will be held by the thieves' clave. That is my purpose here. You do not understand, but we thieves have our own laws and codes of conduct. Charn's family was among the best in our clave. He at least deserves the death of a thief, should he prove guilty.
There's a cave up on that rise. Let's look it over.
That is the loveliest cave I've ever seen.
Starring in order of appearance, Michael A. Tomazic as the narrator, John Young as Father Nifigate, Chris Spittle as Krannik the Green, Erin A. Koch as Allandra the Blue, Christine Long as Trellin, Jason Reese as Sheriff Micah, Chris Hutchins as Elrad, C. Jordan Myers as the Son of Jonas, Jennifer Lewis as Marsan, Wayne Hobbs as the Grey Mage, Thomas E. Ruddick as Caulder the Red, Kurt M. Wiegel as Lantris the Blue, Corey Harrison as Agramon the Blue, Scott Gastineau as Valdor the Blue, Michelle Kustes as Orin the Blue, and Bert Jean as Thangar. Ebon Storms was written and directed by Shane Ernst and Darrell Goffinet. Original music composed and performed by Edward Hauser and Scott Spear. Chief Editor, Shane Fox. Technical Engineer, Scott Spear. Art and Publicity, Shane Fox. Last Summer Productions would like to thank the Western Kentucky University Department of Music and Purdue University. This is Shane Ernst. This has been a Last Summer production.